Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a DIY make it yourself line spooler so you can spool all of your fishing reels up. And today I'm going to be making mine out of an old fishing rod that I shattered the tip off of beyond repair. So I took a trip down to Lowe's, and let me just go ahead and say this was, like, not counting the rod, of course, 10 bucks. I got a gate latch at Lowe's. I think it was like $7. A couple washers, a bolt, and a half-inch threaded PVC coupling, a slip to thread coupling, and then I got a pack of springs in there. But I walked out there $10 lighter, and let's see what we can put together, shall we? Okay, so to get started, what exactly am I using here? This is a 3/4 inch by 1/2 inch slip thread PVC coupling. It is the perfect size for this to fit in with just maybe a 1/16 of a play all the way around. I'm going to fill this up with epoxy to get it on here, and then I'm going to epoxy this in here as well. I also thought about, I think I may take this over to the drill press actually and drill this out a little bit where this rod can fit down in it. And you'll also notice I went ahead and grooved this just a little bit where I could, where the epoxy will get a little bit better grip on it. So let's take this over to the drill press. We'll get this drilled out, and then we'll get this epoxied. Once that hardens up, we'll go ahead, get this epoxied in too. Then we'll start assembling this thing and give it a test run. Well, I am back from the drill press, and you see I got a hole drilled here. Not perfectly centered, but I tried. It'll work though. And this will fit right in it like so. But before we get to that part, we gotta epoxy this in on this way. So we're going to do that with our handy dandy glue gun. And I'll go ahead and get this glued up on here. Okay, so what I did with the hot glue, that was just to keep the epoxy from dripping out of here. So now we can take our epoxy and we'll go ahead and mix that up, and we'll get it poured in there. This is the last of my epoxy. Hopefully it will be enough. All right, we got a bubble just came up at it that I think we might can put, well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Make sure there's no bubbles in here. And that gets everywhere. Well, it looks like we had enough. Let's put this over here. And let's get this guy on here. Now you want to make sure that where your reel seat is going to be lining up perpendicular to this. And it will take some more epoxy. So we'll go ahead and pour that in there. All right, now that is flush right here. And I just want to make sure that this is lined up correctly with this. looks good. So we're gonna let this sit 24 hours and then we'll go ahead and put everything together tomorrow. Okay guys, we are back. It is the next day, and as you can see, I've gone ahead and put this sucker together, and let me show you what I did. So epoxy dried, and I just smoothed this down just to make it look a little more tapered, uniform, aesthetically pleasing. Then I spray painted it black so it matched the rod. Now, I got my bolt that I showed you earlier. I cut this spring right here. All right, I cut the ends off of it. Just, you can see right there what I cut off of it. Cut that off. Then I got my washers right here on the edge of the spool on both sides. So that doesn't, the spring doesn't dig into there. And I went ahead and that holds the tension on here so it doesn't fall off. And then I went ahead and put my spool of string on here. Now, let's go ahead and see this thing in action and get my reel spooled up here. I've already got some mono backing on here because I don't need, 185 yards of braid. So I went ahead and put a little bit of mono on it, and then I'll go ahead and top it off with the braid. Let's see how this thing works. All right, we're just gonna wind this thing on here. It seems to be working flawlessly, guys. And this saves a lot of time and hassle. Keeps your tension on the line. Keeps it going in the same direction. Not gonna get any kind of twist after because you are reeling it almost directly onto the spool. But just that quick. And we got a reel that is almost spooled now. Yeah, looks good. Looks good, guys. We're gonna call this one a success. Yeah, this guy works good. Well, I appreciate y'all watching the video. I hope you found it useful. And if you got a broken rod just laying around that you just don't have the heart to throw away because you just know it's destined for something great, well, here's a fun little project that you can do and make it useful again. As always, thanks for watching. Tight lines.